Don't fight back and I won't hurt you. Welcome to the weirdest world I've ever witnessed. See what I did there? I do have show notes now because my ADHD will get the best of me and I will get off topic, but then usually I'll get myself back. But man, are you paying attention? So I'm going to do what I do for my job, which is I teach teachers how to use AI in the classroom. But the old way of doing AI is already the systems in place have already caught up to ChatGPT and DeepSeek and all the others. Um, Today we're going to talk about how context, context is the how, what are you telling in your news feed? What are you reading? What's the context of it, right? But for me, I always go one step further and I say, what's the why? Right? The why is the intent. So when you're going to read anything, right? All the literacy that you need to read the world around you and understand, not just reading the words on the page, but also reading people, reading the room. Context without intent is where AI is right now. And I know that might be that's the simplest way that I can describe it. If you want more, go to Nate's Substack and he will explain it better than me. But I read him every morning. So I'm going in my phone, Michael Jackson, karaoke, thriller with lyrics, no copyright, AI music, right? Okay, so where's the one? I don't want to get feet, oh, come on, I had it better on YouTube. See, YouTube, you're my bud. All the other ones just piss me off every day. And if I need it, I can find it on YouTube. And if the wings of YouTube are if you know the bell curve of what's in the middle of all the known knowledge in the world, and then what's the obscurest, most minutia of information, and those tails are very long on both sides of that bell curve, which means that if you want to know something about anything, you can probably look it up using a search engine, because the large language models have already mastered all the masters and they are now going for what I would say the people, because there's calling today's thriller drive, and I just want if you came into my real class ever, there would be music, the screen, we might dance, we might sing. I don't do it on the first day of school or the first week. Usually there's a fireplace. Seasonal fireplace is usually the go-to when you don't know what to put on the board, just to calm their brains down. And if you don't feel like the world is sort of like the Michael Jackson thriller, then you're not living in the same world that I am, right? It's scary out there. Right? Holy cow, what's going on out there? We got zombies and freaks and dummies and fat asses and all kinds of people in the world. You slam the door, right? Listen, if you ever really get to enjoy karaoke, you will enjoy it with me, because I'm the worst singer, but I know all the words. All the words. So, and I love to dance. I've even won at an event in Costa Rica at this gorgeous spa hotel owned by a friend. I won in that group White Girls Can Dance award. So proud. So today I'm going to ask you, first and foremost, how the hell are you? Really, how are you? And the blog that I'm going to use to manage my ADHD is it's up on my new website, and it's called Maslow Called and Bloom Can Wait. So I am in full love what I do, love how I do it, thrive mode. And it's because I got pissed off enough at the hypocrisies of the world and the people who make fun of other people, and just like, I'm here today to remind you that the playbook is not new. Okay? Before we talk about pyramids and taxonomies, like, let's talk about what's really happening right now in real world. The systems in place that are supposed to protect you. They're supposed to protect your learning, that's public school. They're supposed to protect your dignity, that's due process and the right to a toilet and a tampon if you need one. Imagine that. And the government, above all else, is supposed to protect your civil rights. But that's not what's going on. What's going on is Project 2025, ICE raids in schools, the Department of Justice weaponizing against the very people it was designed to protect. The systematic dismantling of the civil rights infrastructure. That is what's going on. And this isn't innovation. Project 2025 has been around for like 100 years already. It's not innovation at all. Okay? It's not reform. It's a copy-paste playbook. We've seen it before. And one that starts with I'm like going to tongue tie myself, dehumanizing language. It starts with escalating the surveillance. They're now saying ICE is going, like the new ICE communications are saying they're going to continue to go deeper into the states, but they're supposed to be border patrol. So what the hell are you doing in Minnesota? Like, are you worried about Canada? Are you worried about the Canadians? I mean, did you see them and how congratulatory they were to both the American teams? Like, good job. Oh, Canada. Oh, Canada. I love you. And I had no idea that Katy Perry was with Justin Trudeau. Oh my God. When did that happen? Okay. So what I want you to understand is we assumed that our civil rights were permanent, and they're not. Right now in Florida, there are 2 laws that people like me, because I am not Project 2025's definition of a family, because there's no man in my house. My husband, Adrian, he passed away like almost 14 years ago, and he's a blessed memory, but like, we are still a family without him. I mean, if anything, we have the best freaking angel in the whole wide world. We're talking like Bibles. So equality is what they're after. So I remember I said context with intent. You got to look to the language that Pam Bondi's using, the use of force that they have. Like, they're saying it's a forced response. That's why I started with shh. If you don't fight back, I won't have to hurt you. You won't get in trouble if you do as I said so. But like, what if what you said is stupid? What if what you said is ignorant? What if what you said is fully for just you, and it's completely marginalizing and diminishing and belittling the very people it was created for, because the systems that have changed, they're saying that they're dominating out of duty. Like, this, don't scream and I won't have to hurt you. Don't drive on my foot or I won't have to shoot you in the face. The fuck is that? Don't try to help someone. Let me just shoot you 5, 10 bullets while you are defenseless. Et tu brute. Like, the veterans that I know are horrified by what the Humpty Dumpty administration is doing with ICE and the going to wars. It's just, this isn't justice, folks. Where's my water? This isn't justice. This is the logic of an abuser, right? Our democracy is at stake, and it's because there are people who have been in charge and systems that have been in charge who have no idea what sexual wellness actually is. Their idea of sexual wellness is a hierarchy. It's physical subjugation. Physical subjugation is, I tell you where I want you, how I want you, when I want you, right? If we look at here, I'm going to get rid of you. Physical subjugation. Intellectual subjugation. That means dumbing down the systems of public education. That is over-testing public education. That is school vouchers. That's intellectual subjugation. They want you to be dumb. They want you to submit. We are no longer in a democracy. We in Florida, I'm in Florida, duh. That's what I call it. We're in a relationship with a system that punishes you for naming the pain it causes. I mean, you strip away civil rights protections. That's a First Amendment protection, freedom of speech. That's what America's supposed to be. That's why we spilled the tea. We defund public education. So Ron DeSantis right now, he's trying to use propaganda to take money out of the public education system by taking away property taxes from, and it only, I think you have to be 65 and over anyway for it to apply to you as a homeowner in Florida. So it doesn't apply to me. That's just stealing money from the public system. That's the cops, that's the fire department, that's the school system. Like, why? So they can put it in the vouchers. It's like resegregation because they didn't like desegregation. I mean, the women there's lots, I'm seeing them come up all the time. The women who were the loudest screaming about desegregation are now grandmas. They're not dead yet. That's what's crazy about this, is that we're back to that mentality of us versus them, the hierarchy of only a few of us can be at the top, God's chosen few. And then you guys at the bottom, you're not even worthy of a thought. Right? Emotional subjugation is like, and it goes with physical, like, how are you going to sleep at night? How do you wake up in the morning? What's the first thought on your mind? What's the last thought on your mind? Like, what are the thoughts and feelings that you're having based on the world that you're seeing today? What's going on spiritually? Like, the very, very elite, wealthy Jewish school that I worked at last year that had Secret Service on campus. So do your logical thinking. Why would Secret Service be on campus? Who's Jewish in South Florida? Yada, yada. I saw a total Jewish identity crisis in that building every single day. Because you have one group saying this above all else, and then the other group is saying, but like, what if I don't agree with that? Well, if you don't agree with that, shut up. No one asked you. That's social. That bleeds into the social. Like, these are the 6 dimensions of sexual wellness. That bleeds into the social. The R word, when I thought the word retard was done, I thought we explained why. But it's back. And what I always said, because I was a certified ESC teacher for 30. I'm still certified. Okay. And my specialty is the neurodiverse brain, like the atypical brain, the ADHD learner, the OCD brain. Like, I get those kids and I understand how to get them to calm down enough and come out of their turtle shells that most other environments in the school put them in, so that they can actually relax enough to learn. Okay. So in education, we call it Maslow. Okay. Maslow's hierarchy, right, was that basically you want to be a self-actualized person at the end of the day, which means you have creativity, problem solving, and morality. But the morality that I'm seeing lately, how can you even begin to think that your building is a safe space for all learners if you are telling them what is morally right and wrong about the situation that is happening right before their very eyes? Right? And what happens to the kids in Minnesota right now who they're afraid to go to school? And maybe school was where they got their food. Title I schools have been stripped of money. Their funds were delayed this year, or they haven't received them at all. So that means food, water, sleep, shelter. How important are those things for your brain? And how do you expect anyone to get to the top? And why do we reach for the top? You can't reach the penthouse if the elevator is broken. You can't reach the penthouse if the elevator is broken. They don't want you in the penthouse. They don't want you in higher orders where you can design, construct, and deconstruct and produce. They want you, look at what tests ask students to do. That's why ChatGPT is almost obsolete now, because prompts are no longer what you should be putting in there. Anything that's orange is not for high school, secondary classrooms at all. Like, why you have them memorizing so many things instead of just having them apply that knowledge, it's because they don't want you. If you have a school that's banning books, they don't want you to deconstruct what's wrong with that. They want you to be quiet and submissive. They want you to be needy of their paycheck. Psychologically, you need your paycheck, right? Oh, I like this. My year last year was, my safety was inside my classroom, because my physical and emotional security in the teachers, the little area, I would get yelled at sometimes, like, oh, then it's not, and like, I haven't said enough. There's a lot of mensches at that school. Dr. Fleischer, like, after one of my lashings from Ursula, tapped me on the shoulder and he said, Dawn, take her with a grain of salt. So to have those exact kids, the kids that didn't want to be in her room for sure on any day, come to my room for love and belonging, that put me way up in my self-actualization for the rest of the year. I was like, okay, I'm not staying. I'll say and do anything to say that, so they don't fire me in the middle of the year, because my safety wasn't safe, because they're firing people and then you don't talk about why they got fired. And I know one guy got fired because the kids didn't like him, but he would have been fine. Like, so what? He's a little weird. I'm weird. So if you're paying attention, if you're a problem solver, you have to know that you can't. The reason that your kid goes to school and A's K through 12, but then can't get a decent score on any real test like an SAT or an ACT or whatever they're calling it in Florida now, standards, it's because of this conversation, okay? Abraham Maslow told us decades ago, it's not just a poster in a room, it's a blueprint for why half our students sit in classrooms and learn nothing. Why did they learn nothing? Because you haven't been showing up for them, you're showing up for you. What an ego so many teachers have, all schools, public, private, K through 12. The egos, like my ego in the classroom is built on bins full of thank you letters from students over decades. Like, I'm looking at it right here. It started like as a little tin of thank yous, and it is now a bin full of I love you, Miss Goldstein letters. Because as an English teacher, first day of class, I had them mapping out their goals, and then the last day of class, tell the next class what to look forward to, what are the pitfalls, what are the bad parts of this class, yada, yada. And then I would collect them. I have 11 years of handwritten ones, and then I was an online teacher for 20 years. So then I would put them in my Google Drive and print them. Why did I have that kind of success in any environment, K through 12, even my college classes as a professor? Because I knew that everything I did was not about me, it was about them. So college students, when they came to my class, I actually gave them this one that's at the top because it's a little more cheerful looking, but this is what I created for the blog. I would ask to, and it's like a slideshow that I can record answers. Where are you today? And I had those students during COVID. So there were people all over the map before I then started a lengthy lesson in, I don't know, like what was the content that day? Orwell, right? So me having them engage in taking, and I would say, you know, pick two that you feel today. Like, look at this. Do it right now. Look at this. Where are you in these zones, right? Are you high energy but unpleasant? I have been that 100%. I own it. Like, yeah, it's exactly how I feel because I am enraged at what's happening in America. I'm not jittery. I'm enraged, I'm panicked, I'm stressed. But most of my day, except when I spend time here talking about it, I'm all green. I'm all low energy, pleasant. I walk around my house relaxed and chilled all day. I play music, I stretch, I eat, I chill. I swing in the front yard, I swing in the backyard, I go in the pool. Like, I'm in that range, right? But where are you? Are you low energy, unpleasant? Are you pessimistic right now? Are you morose? Are you bored? Or you feel alienated? And then when I would ask students to use the mood meter, not only am I modeling what social emotional learning actually is, but I'm asking them to participate, right? And I didn't develop this tool. It's Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence. I just been following their educational content for a long time. When I'm in any environment, and I've taught 2-year-olds, I've taught college students, I've taught in nursing homes, okay? when I ask people to locate where they are, and it's not always a chart, right? Something shifts because it's not therapy, right? It's not like, how many rooms do you just sit and navel gaze? You're just like, when is this going to be over? People are on their phone. When you ask them about them, you create instant agency in 5 seconds. You're telling me and yourself where you are before I ask you to go somewhere new, right? So if you can actually identify where you are in your emotional state, all the research continues to tell us that you're more willing to take cognitive risks, to like do a job, do it well, and make mistakes and fail and iterate. And that is not a soft skill. That's the prerequisite of every hard skill that we pretend matters more. So you can't bloom to the higher depths of learning and become enlightened if you're starving children, if they're not going to school. You can't reach the penthouse if the elevator's broken, right? And this is not by chance. This is not because they made us. This is because something is backwards in the world right now. And just the facts, just the data, just the curriculum map, that's important. Context is knowledge, and that is important. But knowledge without intent, it's like a loaded gun, and you're just shooting in the air. You're just not, you don't know what you're shooting at. You're like shots in the sky. Right? When we look at the intent of why information is shared, then we're asking deeper questions. Right? What do you want in your life? What do you want, and why do you want it? Right? That's intent. And when you can turn someone's agency on, when you can give them, like, turn in their intent into how you take information, the context, and you turn it into mental transformation, right? This is what we should be teaching in schools. Like, yeah, here's the standard, here's the test, here's the rubric, but why are we going to hand students a weapon they don't know how to aim? Just because you have a rubric doesn't mean it works. But when you lead your classes and the people around you, like, why does this matter to you? What will you do with this information? Suddenly, the context has a home to live in their brain. It has some kind of purpose. It has some kind of direction. Oh, Miss Goldstein wants me to make a dating app profile for one of the characters in the Scarlet Letter. Huh, that sounds fun. What would Pearl say? Right? That's how you engage learners. And the reason they switched the Department of Education to the Department of Labor is because they want to make a pipeline of the less able, disengaged, disabled population, get them away over here. Let's get them to the correct curriculum. Without any context. Oh, you were put, like, that's like when we used to put the kids with cerebral palsy with no mental impairment in the same class with the nonverbal, non-ambulatory kids, just because they had an IEP. Isn't that who Stephen Hawking was? Like, a totally disabled body with a brilliant brain. I think he's in the Epstein files. So, where should we go? To me, I always tell students, like, one of this problem-solving sheets I give them is, it's like the Northeast Southwest, right? It's their inner compass. Like, what's your North Star? So if I know if I know what they're made of and where they're going, I'm not delivering content anymore. I'm igniting their agency, and their agency, as we know from the mood meter, is where engagement begins. And here's the problem for me, and I made this, I'm super proud of it. If you don't know who it is, I'll say it. Okay. I mean, can you even? What anyone needs in any classroom, in any church, temple, building with walls, anywhere on the planet. Honestly, even animals need this. What we don't need in the midst of our struggle and our growth is shame and discomfort when we're learning. Right? So that's Stephen Miller, and he reminds me of Caillou. Do you remember Caillou? Mommy! Oh, I could stand that kid. Didn't really allow him much in my house if I could help it. He reminds me of the kind of kid that chewed crayons in the corner, and he is telling Humpty Dumpty what to do, and I think he's pretty evil. And what we are now in a place where teachers in classrooms who shame kids for not knowing, shame them for asking, shame them for feeling, shame them for being human. Like, this is not a teaching tool. It doesn't motivate. It makes you look like the asshole. The kids know you are. I'm getting their messages. It disconnects them. They're turtles now. They go into their shell. You're telling them you are the problem, not you have a problem to solve. Wake up, Moira. Wake up, Rabbi from Britain, who I don't even care what your name is. Those are two radically different messages, and only one of them leads to growth. Only one of them has respect. It was not a failure of mine that students felt they were in the green and the yellow every time they walked into my classroom. They didn't know what to expect from me, but I showed up, except for maybe twice all year long, as this girl, and once as a red, and often outside my room in the blue. That was me. So the North Star is, you can't be afraid of making mistakes and asking questions anywhere in life, because if you don't sleep well and you don't eat well, you're not going to think well. And those kids in the private school, man, they got fed well, and they complained about it, but they got fed well. The building is beautiful, like environmental, physical spaces, so safe. But emotionally, socially, spiritually, not so much. And for me, like, if you're really going to be like a rock solid leader in any environment, you're going to make people feel seen no matter where they come from. Right? It's not a single lane. This is how we do it. This is what we're doing. That's like, no. Everybody's multidimensional. And a kid who is dysregulated isn't thriving. And boy, did I see emotionally dysregulated kids. More than I saw at the last public high school that I went to in one of the poor cities in Fort Lauderdale. Those kids were happier than a lot of kids in the wealthy private school. Why? because they don't want them to be uncomfortable. So they take all the hard work, all the mistakes, you don't have to like every teacher. And you definitely can't be the kind of parent who forms a group chat to get a beautiful, gorgeous, brilliant, badass teacher fired because your kid doesn't like them. Like, you're not emotionally regulated yourself if you're forming a group chat to get someone fired that's doing their job pretty damn well for somebody who's been doing it for not that long. So safety in the world, in the classroom, in a building, anywhere, emotional safety is the capacity to be able to feel and name and regulate your emotions. Not you should be ashamed of yourself. I mean, do you hear yourselves? Social, the ability to connect, communicate, and set boundaries. Following people in the bathroom as an adult is creepy AF. What is that? Telling children they're an embarrassment makes them feel like you're an asshole and that there's nothing they can do about it. The way that they police the girls' uniforms, it's always, and that's not just private schools, that's every school, the way they police the girls' uniforms. I basically had to tell the middle school down the street from me, Indian Ridge Middle, stop staring at my daughter's pants. Those are the pants I sent her to school in. Their uniform color. What he was basically saying is, your daughters look different in the pants than a lot of the other girls. That's what he was saying. And then my one daughter, how many of you have a kid who wore a hoodie all of middle school? So they would constantly tell her, you can't wear your hoodie. Take the hoodie off. Where's your uniform top? And she would ignore them. She would keep walking. She would tell me when she would get home. And I would say, well, if they don't actually stop you, just keep walking, because it's inappropriate for him to ask you that. Like, we had those conversations at night. And then finally, he pulled her in his office because he was so mad that she wouldn't talk to him about why she wouldn't take her hoodie off. And so he calls me on the phone, teeny weeny little man that he was, got fired for inappropriate behavior. I told you so. He's pissed off. I said, set up a meeting with the principal. Next day, I'm in the principal's office. And the principal's very busy, but he made some time for you. And then he sits me. I'm at his office. And he goes, I don't understand why we're here. And I said, great tool when you want people to just keep talking is to say more. And so I said, say more. And he said, well, Emma is belligerent. She won't answer him. She won't listen to him. And I said, and what is she saying to him? What is he saying to her? And then it hits him. It finally hits him. And I was like, and I'm being very calm and professional. And I had my professional clothes on and the whole 9 yards. And it hits him. And I go, so ask me what he keeps asking my daughter. And then he turned bright red, and then dumbass walks in the door with his assistant principal of a middle school in Broward County. I'm the big boss cop energy, and his radio's loud and he doesn't even turn it down. That kind of guy. And he finally sees the principal's face, and I'm calm as a clam. Okay. And he realizes, oh, maybe I should turn down the radio blasting. And then he decides to walk to the principal's side of the desk, and the principal points his finger and tells him to sit down. And then he says, the principal looks at me, he says, Miss, and I'm not going to say what he called me because I'm still my married name. He said, I think I understand where you're coming from, and I'm going to explain that right now. Would you like to say something? And I said, yes, I would. It's my turn. Hi, Mike. Ask me what you ask my daughter every day. Every day that she's wearing a uniformed hoodie. Ask me what you ask her. And then he paused and he goes, well, I don't understand. I'm confused. And I said, would you ask a grown woman, hey, take off that extra layer of clothing so I can see what's underneath? Because guess what, Mike? And I made sure to call him Mike and not by Mr. She doesn't wear anything underneath because she's just comfortable and she's 12. You moron. Yeah. So safety is a priority for everyone, everywhere, every day, in every building, no matter who you are, what religion you practice. It's a human right to name a problem, and that's your North Star. What do I need? It's figure outable, and that's what I taught my kids here. If it says hashtag figure outable, everything is figure outable. And no, you didn't invent that, girl. So many of these women influencers who are saying nothing on their pages right now. They're still selling in their pipelines, and they're not talking about the atrocities that are happening in our state, in our local, national, state level. Like, I'm so done with these fake influencers. The new influencer is somebody like me and you who have a real knowledge base that they can share in long form. Because only the dumbest of the dummies are going to stay in the short form. And that's like McDonald's and fast food junk. And long form videos are not junk. That's why I'm doing them. That's why the people that I know who are making a difference are doing long form videos and then chunking them down to their smaller pieces. That's why I'm not even worried about time anymore, because I finally figured out how to do that like that. So we must examine every problem we have with the plus, minus, or interesting mindset, right? Go a little deeper. What's positive about this situation? Even if it's bad, like that's a writing assignment that I give every kid. Like, tell me the thing you hate to eat the most. And me, it's don't put nuts in my damn chocolate chip cookies. I don't like nuts in my sweets. I don't want them in my brownies. I'll eat nuts all day long, but don't put them in my sweets like that. And then I say, now write about as if you love nuts in your brownies and your chocolate chip cookies. And as soon as I say that, like the kids, I can't write about that. And I'm like, yes, you can, because that's what good writing is. And I show them all the tools they need. Right? So you have to be, and what am I doing? I'm teaching them lateral thinking, out of the box thinking. When you examine plus, minus, interesting. I didn't invent that. I think it's called a court. I forget the original strategist, but it's a thing, and it's like, it's a thing. It's a classroom. A plus, minus, interesting. I don't remember who made it though. I made this for the record. Then we're just like the same direction of the compass, northeast, southwest. So I've named a problem because I know everything is figure outable. This is active problem solving strategy. Then I did the plus, minus, and interesting. I did a search. I went deep. Then I was like, okay, let me strategize my options. And when we're strategizing options, we're literally weighing what's light and heavy. What's light and heavy? Because that's where we really need to go, is why am I going to go further down that rabbit hole of hate and abuse and disenfranchisement, disestablishment, disgusting, when I can go towards total release of control of all those systems that they had over me and creating my own new systems, right? So I always say, weigh it. How do you weigh it? I'll tell you. If you want to know. When I drink, you drink. In a college class, sometimes the class is 3 hours and we have to go for like a while, because that's what critical thinking looks like. It's not 5-minute, 5-second, 60-second video snippets. It's long-term conversations. It's you taking some snippet or tidbit of what you learned from me today and then explaining it to someone else or sharing it with someone else. So the way I teach light and heavy to my daughters in my yoga classes, when I do energy work, in my coaching seminars, is listen. Would you rather drink an ice cold lemonade with a little sugared rim, freshly squeezed with some cute fruit hanging out of it, in a really beautiful, gorgeous service of a cup? Or would you rather drink motor oil? That's light and heavy. Well, if you like lemonade at all, that was really easy. Yeah, I'll drink that. When I said drink motor oil, you had an immediate reaction. Ew, that's heavy. So for me, if you continue to follow what's heavy, you will vibrate at those lower levels. You will vibrate at those lower levels. You're allowed to feel all the feelings. Feel the whole rainbow. I want you to feel them. But asking people, where are you right now, and really listening is the first step in any environment. Because you can't get people to their destination where they want to go if you don't know where they're starting from. Maslow before Bloom, mood before content, humanity before curriculum. That's not soft. That's not gentle. That's science, people. That's love. That's the work that I do. I'm going to navigate to the winning solution is the end of this light versus heavy strategy, right? So we name it so we can, because we know no problem is unsolvable. We can figure it out. Then we examine it, plus, minus, interesting, right? What's unique, what's different, what's odd, what's unusual. Like, these are also signs you should be putting when you're reading in the book because you thought something was interesting or negative or whatever, right? Then we strategize light versus heavy, weigh it, measure it. This is a saying my dad always used to say, because he was in the construction business, basically, can build anything. He's measure twice and cut once. And that's how I have chose my winning solution every time, is that all right, measure twice. So I went through, I named it, I examined it, I strategized. And then there's times in my life where I said, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. I don't want to be friends with this person anymore. So the winning solution is make sure you measure it twice before you cut, right? Measure twice before you cut. Isn't that beautiful? Thanks, Dad. It's going to be a keeper for me forever. So I'm going to, I think, wrap it up. Yeah, but I am just so excited that I found my voice, I guess, because I didn't want to create a new website, and I didn't think this isn't a book I thought I'd write. This isn't even a curriculum. None of this existed less than 30 days ago. And I just want you to look, like, none of this existed 30 days ago, but I know when the universe loves speed, and I got an idea and I went with it, and I wrote a book, I wrote a curriculum, I designed this website. You can't even buy it yet, it's not ready. I've got a framework, right? I've got an entire ecosystem. You can download it. You can teach this anywhere in any grade, right? Notice the feminine hero. Because, like Joseph Campbell, I love your hero's journey, but there's also women in this world. And we are on fire right now for the injustices and the inhumanity that we see in the world. I'm going to go back to my storyboard and make sure I covered everything, while I also show you, like, if you want something bad enough and you keep going, you can get it. And the world needs more of people like you and me, people that are awake and literate about what true sexuality looks and feels and smells and tastes, and even deeper dimensions, I think, of sensory input that you can even imagine, right? Like, I need the most eyeballs on the research page taking the quiz, because it's part of my book. And until that reaches 300, I think was what they require, I am not even going to think about publishing the book, because I really want the research. And then the vlog, I can't wait for tomorrow's. This is actually tomorrow. I've already published it, but I'm going Bible tomorrow. Yep, I'm gonna introduce you to Monte. Monte is my new, like, Shiro, and the blogs are my favorite part of the website, because I've told you my art is activity in any shape or form. First and foremost, whatever I do, I'm going to be creative for the rest of my life, because creativity is forever and it can be taught. But I took my decades long being the College of Education School of Criminal Justice professor, a literacy expert, a English language arts and English speakers of other languages certified educator. And I put so much heart and soul into these blogs. And I don't have a lot of eyeballs on them. So if you see a title that I'm scrolling through right now and it caught your eye, read it, share it, because this is, like, every picture, every word, every title, it's all me, and it feels like fun. And that's why I know I'm on the right path, no matter what right now. I have lots of big decisions coming up. Always, like, if you want to have a better life, you need to have bigger problems. Number one. So like I don't get caught in the tea. I didn't get caught in the tea at work because last year, because once I figured out what was going on, I was pretty clear that I wasn't going back. And everything I did was preservation. And I did get some good advice from a couple of people there that did look at my curriculum. One of them was Sunny. What's up, Sunny? And she basically was like, where are the resources? So then I was like, oh, okay, yeah. She hasn't seen the teacher version of any of my stuff. So of course she would say that because she's seeing the student front end. So I took not all, but the workshops that I can deliver on the topics that I can deliver, like amplified and magnified those in the tools and programs. I created the glow code. I'm super excited about this. Like, this is the page where writing it felt like a transformation for myself. Like, it was the moment that I felt the most proud, grounded, wholehearted, like all the affirmations, like conscious, compassionate, creative, loving, by putting these 6 principles. This is like, I started the whole website with this page. Truly. It was the homepage, the about page, because that was easy. I'm a girl from Hollywood, if you don't know it. Hollywood, the good one, the Florida one, much better than the other one. Trust me, I ain't lying. But first, the glow code, because everything that's built into every program I give, every speaker conference, that any presentation that I give, everything I create inside this ecosystem is based on these 6 principles. It's people over performance, right? So it's your worth is not measured in grades or productivity or your hustle, right? I design experiences that honor who you are before what you do. Number 2, healing is a learning mode, right? Learning happens in quiet, in reflection, in breath. We build brave spaces that support emotional regulation, self-trust, and nervous system wisdom. I feel like I did not intonate correctly, so I'm going to have to say that again. We build brave spaces that support emotional regulation, self-trust, and nervous system wisdom. See how much better that was? So like, that's me modeling prosody and good reading and the things kids need to read out loud to themselves, to each other, and constantly be talking while they're learning in any classroom, in any environment. Growth that gives back. So we practice regenerative entrepreneurship, fair pricing, intentional design, and energy practices that help people upgrade without burnout, right? So many coaches promise an experience, but it's what I have learned. That's what I learned from I did like how to upgrade your digital media skills class, paid for it. And what I realized is they, like many people on school and all these places, like they don't get that it's not about you spitting out what you know for people. It's about it's about them and what they need. So creating like intentional ease so that like I got to like a module in that class that went from like chapter like, and then 5 things to learn, and then 1, and then 5 things to learn, and then 3, and then it got to number 4, and all of a sudden it was like 40 videos, and I was like, and then I started watching them, and I was like, this is old. That's not like, when you create content that ages like that, that's not intentional design. That's about you, right? The content that I give in any class ages well, because like all I do when I go in to teach anything these days is I just look at my slides and my presentations and my deck and I just upgrade it. It's the backbone is already there. It's ready to regenerate in millions of ways. But if you want kids to burn out, keep making it about you. All ages, all brains, all welcome. We don't believe in too old, too behind, or too much. Neurodivergent healing needs to happen. The trauma, the collective trauma of the whole wide freaking world, for God's sakes, right? We journal. That's what these are all about. This is about journaling. Am I showing you my notes in the thing? I am. No, it's okay. I don't really care. I was pretty much off book anyway, people, wasn't I? I mean, let me give myself a little tap on the back. Where was I? So you belong here. That's all. Sustainable technology and solar line tools. Like I told you, I deleted most of the big tech companies, and I'm using companies that have their AI generation stuff built in, using intuitive tools instead of content and context tools, which is what regular chat is. So therefore, I'm using less data because I don't need their platform anymore. And I'm using AI very wisely. So I think of like an evergreen that I promise to give as much to what I deliver as I take in creating those fun photos that I showed you, and etc. And community over clicks. Like this movement that I'm building is one conversation at a time, one session at a time, one story at a time, right? Like I'm not chasing fame. I'm trying to cultivate real impact. Just like I would not like a student in my class to be chasing grades. Like I nipped that in the bud week 1. Like, hey, guess what? I got a secret. You want to hear it? I'm going to give you an A no matter what. Unless you don't show up and you don't do the work, I'm going to give you an A. But I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to make you fix your mistakes. In fact, I will let you fix your mistakes until you get to an A or above. And that's how you will work in my class. Don't ask me why you got your grade before reading my feedback about why you got your grade. And then when you come to me, ask me questions like, how could I have done that, like you said? And we'll talk about it in real face-to-face time. That is why they liked me, because we had real conversations about real growth. And I was thrilled that the kids liked me, because it was like that Sally Fields moment, and like where she's like, they really like me. Like, I've been with the disadvantaged kids my whole career. I've been with a special needs population, the English speakers of other languages population, if you didn't pass the state exam population. And then when I got to college, it was to teach the teachers who have those students in class when I was a professor. So, I'm so excited that I found my voice and that I feel like I can make an impact with the Glow Code and the literacy tools and all the things. Like, the back end of what I have to offer pre-K through 16, and really any business, like I have something to offer everyone when it comes to literacy. Physical literacy, spiritual literacy, sexual literacy, you name it. Because pleasure is a birthright. You are holy just because you were born. Okay? And we are going to talk about, like, we're going Bible on the Bible. We are going Bible on the Bible. I didn't read the Bible. Monte did. But Monte inspired me for the very first time ever to get my own, like, study Bible. I've never even had an inkling. Oh, look, sexual relations. Look who went open to that. You guys, that's freaking crazy. I haven't even opened the book. All I did was put the thing on. That's my witch laugh. Some kids say, Miss, you lit AF. And I'll be like, you're right. High five. Peace out. Where are we? An hour? Over an hour? You stayed for the whole hour. If you did, I love you. Mwah! Lover above. Can I go with, I'm going to leave with Michael. Can we leave with Michael? Let's do a little dance. 'Cause it's the driver. Where did it go? YouTube. Do. I can still do a lot of that dance for the record, like the real dance, because I used to be a dancer. I want from the beginning. Peace out. Come on. I don't have my legs. Oh, wait. And then there's the shimmy. It's close to midnight. Ah! Thriller Drive. This is usually back there, but I was like, I'm going to pull it up because it relates. I don't think I'm doing Fridays for the record. I don't like working on Fridays. It's my fun day. Finances and fun. Friday. Love you. See you tomorrow. I can't get too excited because then the dog gets all crazy. But like, what can I repeat right now? Because all I'm doing right now, I'm getting some content for my my stuff. What can we say? When the oppressors feel equality is oppressive, that's just because they've always been doing the oppression, right? They're demonizing education with their worldview, which is this big. My family's not a real family because I don't have a man. I don't even want a man. I'm fine. Research shows it ain't good for us. That's why I'm so healthy. That's what 55 looks like when you're healthy in all the areas of wellness, right? Sexual wellness and literacy is 100% tied to your mental health. And right now, the mental health that's going on in this country, it's an abomination. An abomination across the whole nation. I didn't plan that. I did that. Hold on. I just want to go back to today because I like what I created. Not a new playbook. No, it's not. Quality feels like oppression when you're used to being on top. Shh, don't scream and I won't have to hurt you or run over your foot or shoot you in the back of the head. Where you at? Real tools, real education, right here, right now, almost every weekday until I don't feel like it anymore. Hopeful, playful, blissful, joyful, pleasant, thrilled, proud, happy, focused, pleased, enthusiastic, optimistic, excited, lively, energized, elated, inspired, motivated, cheerful, hyper, ecstatic, exhilarated, festive, upbeat, surprised. And then I'm going to chill to the Green. And let me tell you who had Chill to the Green. If you haven't heard it, oh, I'm about to. If you don't know what Tiny Desk is, start with the Lion King Tiny Desk. That's where I started. But oh my God, Bad Bunny's Tiny Desk is beautiful. It's so very beautiful. Hold on. Bad Bunny. Oh, to be that age again. So my type for the record. Oh, my husband is Cuban, and my daughter's friends are now starting to say things to them that I know. They're like, "Ooh, your dad was fine." Well, that's what they're starting to say when they see pictures, and I'm like, "Oh, I know he was fine as fuck, my Cuban man." And let me tell you, those people, he was an immigrant legally, but when he first came, he wasn't. And after 9/11, I was like, honey, I think you and your family and your parents should become citizens. I don't think the world's going to be the same anymore. And I don't think like you being married to me and us having 3 kids, or right at the time it was only 1 kid, will keep you safe. And I was right. So, yeah, those Cuban people, like their health, right? Their physical, intellectual, emotional, spiritual, social, environmental health, let me tell you, so much healthier than so many other people that live in America. The food they eat, the parties they have, the laughter they are, the way they take care of each other when people die or when people are sick. Like, you are listening to Pam Bondi's garbage language if you believe this whole immigrants are ruining the country rhetoric. I was married to one, and he was the most normal, healthy human, like man that I ever dated comparatively. So I'm gonna leave and get in my tiny little spot here and do my meditation for the afternoon, but I am gonna listen to the Bad Bunny Tiny Desk concert. If you haven't heard it and you like Bad Bunny, you're welcome. Okay. Oh, with the ads, I don't pay for premium anywhere anymore, and neither should you. Oh my gosh, double sponsor. I really want the Bad Bunny song. Here we go. Otra Navidad en la que te